Hi, welcome to episode 3.
Hey, hey.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. So, what's been going on for you this week?
Oh, what's been going on for me this week? It's one of those weeks that I'm not even sure what day it is.
Seriously, I hear
But
you there.
it's Thursday, right?
Yep.
I've been getting a lot of work done, which is good. I've needed to do. I haven't had a lot of time to just sit, at my computer or in the office. I've always been running around here or there. So I got a lot of that stuff done, which it was very necessary.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like I've actually done the opposite. I feel like I've been on the run every day this week,
But
driving all over.
for good reason, right?
Yeah. So I had a closing today. I had to go out. That house was in Rhode Island. I had to go out there twice, which was not part of my plan, but it's all good. It's part of the
Yeah.
job.
We do what we gotta, right?
It closed, so mission accomplished.
Yeah. Amen. Even better.
But yeah, time on the road is not time getting things done. Like,
No.
back end stuff, the bookkeeping stuff, people don't realize.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. I was able to sit down and really focus on a plan. I made myself um I decided I'm going to start doing monthly goals. Um things I want to accomplish in a month instead of what I want to do this week, cuz as you know, things change all the time. You
The
had to
week
drive.
gets derailed.
Exactly. You had to drive to Rhode Island twice. Like, that was not in the plan. So I thought that it'd be easier for me to stay more organized and focused if I do things on a monthly basis. So yesterday I was able to organize, sit down and organize um, a lot of the things that I'm looking to accomplish this month. So that was huge because, like I said, I have not had the time to just sit down and organize my thoughts. So I'll take
I'm
that.
jealous. I'm jealous. I mean,
Yeah,
the closing is good, but I'm jealous.
yeah, no, I mean, we got to take it when we can.
Yeah.
So
So we had a training yesterday.
we did.
That was, I think, coming at a very good time and very helpful for everybody involved. Um, Talking about the lawsuits in the news. I'm sure by now everyone's at least heard something about it, whether or not they've paid any attention to it. It's been covered by every news outlet there is.
Yeah. I feel like after you said, "Oh, the lawsuits in the news," we should have put like a dun dun dun
There you
sound.
go. Note to editor.
Yeah, right. I think, listen, there are lawsuits in every single industry there is. That's why doctors have malpractice insurance. People sue over literally anything.
Absolutely.
So, I don't think that it's something that we have to um hide under a rock and hide from, but
No.
I felt that it was important that we take the our training time yesterday to just kind of dive into it a little bit, have the conversations, bounce things off of each other, because it is something that we have to be able to talk about. And on top of that, we're going to have to change how we have normally done things, right? So and instead of hiding from it, it's something that we need to
Well, I think
take
our
on.
job depends on us being well informed
Right.
and having an understanding of what was happening, what caused all of this, but also what it means for us going forward.
Right.
And honestly, I was looking, some of my research was showing one of these lawsuits started like 4 years ago. And we're
Yeah.
just hearing about it now because they just went to court and finally had a ruling.
Right.
Well, there's another one coming down the pipeline. And then there's, a NAR Department of Justice thing too. So there's really 3 different cases going on, if you will. Probably more,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, if you
Yeah.
look at the whole country. But the 2 that were already in the pipeline, one was in Missouri and one's in Illinois. So what does that have to do with Connecticut?
Well, we are all a part of NAR, the National Association of Realtors. So it does impact us. And not only that, just because it's not here, people here are hearing about it, you know?
Right. Right.
I can say that I think that our local board, ECAR, has always been very good about um, continuing to evaluate, and we're always getting updates to our contracts. They're very good about um, going with the changes. So in our contracts, we do have a portion of the commission, you know, and the breakdown of it, and actually the breakdown of um, the buyer's agent's commission is now included in our contracts. You know, so I think that on a local level, um, it has always been our mindset, or our whatever you want to call it, um, for the, you know, to be transparent and to continue to evolve in better ways to serve our clients, which in the end is what the goal is. Nobody around here is trying to um you know, pull the wool over
To
a
hide
seller's
it.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not something to gloss over. I mean, it's not just in the contract, it's in bold,
Right.
bold letters.
Right.
And I think any seller, you get a contract for anything,
Right.
you really should be reading it. And this is not dozens and dozens of pages. Our
And
contract is what, 5 pages?
right, it's not long, but and I agree with you. Anybody who signs anything should know what they're signing. However, people also hire us to go over and explain what they're signing.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so like if somebody is just kind of glossing over that section, you know, maybe a seller really just doesn't think twice about it, you know? They hire us because they trust us, not because they don't, you know?
Well, and I feel like take all of these lawsuits and issues out of the equation altogether. Speaking for myself personally, I've always tried to be as transparent as possible
Yeah.
to let someone know why we charge, what we offer for that, and where it's all going.
Right. So
You know, we're talking about a lot of money.
let's get into it a little bit. So the premise behind the lawsuit is that these sellers felt that they were forced to pay a percentage for a buyer's agent, um,
Which is true.
which is
Technically.
true. Yeah. The MLS wouldn't allow a listing to go into the MLS without offering even if it's just $1 to a
A $1
buyer's agent.
minimum.
Yeah,
Yep.
$1 minimum. So to just kind of summarize why this has come up, how we have normally done things is a seller and a listing agent, they mutually agree. So a commission is a negotiable um number. There's not a set number. It has to be agreed upon by both parties. So there's that. That's important to know.
And there's no
Um,
minimum.
there's no minimum. So a seller and a listing agent mutually agree upon a percentage, most likely.
Mhm.
And then from there, the listing agent offers a portion of that commission to buyers agents for bringing their buyer through and successfully closing on this transaction. So there are definite pros and cons, I guess, if depending on who you're talking to that strategy, but that's
Yep.
always how it's been. And so in this instance, these sellers did not want to pay a percentage to the buyer's agents, but felt they were forced and felt that it was a way to keep commissions high.
And prices inflated and yeah.
Right.
The whole picture they felt is being manipulated, I guess, would
Right.
be an appropriate word. But they do not have to.
Right.
They never have had to. So, yes, it was true, is or was true, that you had to offer a buyer's agent a $1 commission to be listed in the MLS. There is nothing saying that someone has to use an agent. You can have a for sale by owner.
Right.
You can have agent representation and withhold it from the MLS, where that one agent is the only agent involved. That there is not one size fits all here.
Right. Right. And the sellers, I mean, signed a contract
They agreed.
that said this is what we're paying. So, I it's one of those where I think it is just going to bring up having these conversations, having more in-depth conversations with our clients. And I think that it's important for sellers to understand what the benefit of paying a buyer's agent would be. Now, in the end, they can decide if it is something they want to do or not. And if not, then that's how it is. We, as the buyer agents, now have to adjust how we normally do things moving forward with that. But it is a seller's right to decide if that's something that they want to do or not.
Of course. Of course. I do think, I'm just speculating here, but I think that it is going to do a couple of things to buyers. I think it could take some buyers right out of the market altogether. Buyers, say it's somebody using government loan, VA, FHA, with either a very low down payment or no down payment. Say it's somebody that already is going to need to ask for closing cost assistance. If they don't have the cash reserves to pay for a buyer agent representation, and then you have a house where the seller is not offering any buyer agent commission, those buyers are not going to be able to afford an agent. They are not going to have representation and may not even be able to buy a house.
Right. Right. And I think that we need to touch on why it would benefit a seller to do so. And
Mm-hmm.
you touched on it right there. Our goal is to get as many people in to a seller's property as possible. And the best time to do that is right out the gate. That we list
First
a house.
few days on Park. Yep.
The first few days is when you're going to get the most. And there's multiple reasons for that. We have, especially in this market, buyers who have been looking for a long time, maybe have lost out on
Have
multiple
lost
homes.
out. Yep.
Right. And so we want to get those buyers, especially, in the door because they're ready to go. They're going to be the ones to say, okay, I'm putting an offer in, I'm going in strong. Those are the people we want to get. Right. And
Yep.
it is all, and that comes down to the price, making sure the house is in good shape. A lot of things go into that. But if a buyer who sees this house is ready to go, maybe they're already pushing the top of their budget because the interest rates are higher, the prices have gone up. So if they know they have to add an additional 2.5 to 3% into their bottom line number, that's going to push a lot of them out. So maybe if you have 10 buyers who went through the house that weekend, 5 of them are out,
Right.
And so where sellers get the most for their house is when you have people competing against
Right. Right.
against each other, and that's how the prices go up. So if we're losing a percentage of buyers right off the gate because they right out of the gate because
Mm-hmm.
they cannot afford the additional expense, then it does not benefit the seller.
And let's talk about a different scenario. Let's talk about a slightly less competitive scenario where maybe there's more inventory, maybe buyers have more choices of, properties to look at than they do currently. It's quite likely they'll be more drawn to the one where they can build it into the deal because think about it. There is no sale without a buyer.
Right.
Anybody can list their house.
Right.
But the buyer's bringing the money. It doesn't matter where they get it from. It doesn't matter if it's being financed or if they have cash or, some combination of both. There's no sale without a buyer. So if you have a seller not offering anything and an agent tells a buyer, this is a situation where we're going to have to either, of course, the option is to ask the seller if that's their, preferred house, build it into the deal and ask the seller if they're willing to pay the buyer's agent commission. There are many different scenarios here. But if the seller is still adamant that they're not going to pay a buyer's agent anything, they're going to go to the other house down the street where they don't have to pay that out of pocket and can build it into the deal the way it's always been done.
Right. Right. So, from a seller's perspective, they absolutely have the right to say, I'm not doing it. But
Of
I
course.
think it depends on what their end goal is in the end. They really will end up getting the most for their house if they offer that. There are obviously some sellers who maybe aren't in a huge rush, and so I say, yeah, let's try it. There's no
Sure.
harm in that, and again, it's all negotiable. I think where it's going to be more problematic is on the buy side of it.
They're the ones that are going to be more affected for sure.
And it's really unfortunate because they already are so affected by this market. It's
Mm-hmm.
sellers are doing really well right now in general.
Right.
So it's hard, to see the industry dealing with this type of potential huge shift, because it's already a hard marketplace for buyers. And I think that the bottom line is that there are agents out there who are not educating their clients and their sellers on where the money is going, and that's what the problem is. So it's hard. It's just like anything else, right? um
I think, like you said earlier, it's really going to be a matter of us not necessarily changing the way we have conversations, because at least, again, speaking for myself, it is something that I've always touched on, but going into more detail so that your client, be it buyer or seller, understands
yeah.
understands the value in what we offer, everything we put into a listing, all of the marketing, all the advertising, the signs, the photographer. We offer a full service. There are other options. There will continue to be other options. Discount brokers, MLS entry only, a la carte type options, I think we were mentioning yesterday. You can make any number of choices. What we offer is a whole package, and we charge accordingly.
Right. Right. And I think that we have to educate people more on where a lot of that money does go. That
Oh
so
yeah, it does not all go to us.
when
Not
we
even close.
get a commission, we get part of that goes to Remax, part of
Yep.
that goes to our broker, part of that, a large part of that
Taxes.
goes away right off the bat to pay for taxes when it's time. And then on top of that, we spend our time going for showings, doing open houses, marketing the property, doing the paperwork. There's a lot that goes into it,
Behind the
and
scenes.
behind the scenes that people don't realize. So they think we're getting this large sum of money from one transaction, when it's not. We don't get that whole amount. And I like what Bud said yesterday. We are probably one of the only industries, I'm sure there are others, so I'm not excluding people, but there
It's a
aren't
very
many
small pool.
that work at the risk of not getting paid. And we can't put a lien on somebody's house because we put work into this.
You might be
and
onto something.
And it didn't close. But like, you think of anybody else, contractors, right?
Yep.
You go out, you do the work. If you don't get paid, you put a lien on someone's house. You're going to get
Yep.
that money eventually.
Yep.
We have no repercussions. Sorry, I cannot speak today. For putting in the work and then not getting to the closing table with it. And
not only that, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
That's
not
fine.
only the question of if it closes, we also don't know when. So
Right.
sure, there could be a deal that closes in 30 days. That's great. That's not always the case.
Right.
It could take 6 months or longer, depending on the property, depending on, any number of different factors, location, depending if it's land versus, we're representing a foreclosure.
Yeah.
There are all different processes, and it's not always cut and dry.
Right. Right. And I believe that the majority of people we work with don't expect to work with us for free, right? The majority.
No,
I,
no, I
I've
don't think
had
so.
I've had buyers who have shown houses, even just a couple, who haven't bought anything, but like had say, "Let me give you a gas card." It's like that's no. I appreciate
Right.
that, but so there are definitely people out there, but I think that even those people still need to understand the breakdown
Mhm.
of it, because it puts a different perspective out there, and people think we show a couple houses, get a huge paycheck and move on in our merry way, and that's just not the reality. And there we do provide a valuable service to people, and just like I think Bud said this yesterday, when you're looking for a doctor, you don't look for who's the cheapest. You
Right.
you look for the
Right.
best. And so, this conversation of commission and some people trying to negotiate their way out of paying or paying a certain amount, sometimes does not sit well, because we do a job, we put all we can into this job, and there's nobody on this planet who has to do that and not get paid. Not,
Well, and you know
you know
what?
what I
That's
mean?
their right. That is their right. If they are adamant, if they are hell bent that they are not wanting to pay commission, fine.
Right.
Then we don't have to work together.
Yeah,
I don't have
exactly.
to work for you.
Exactly.
I've got no issue with that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah. So, in all, I think that it was probably something necessary to happen, to start having these conversations in a different way.
I agree. I
And
agree.
I think in the end it will be good for us, honestly. I think it will be good for everybody on it. I don't see this as being a bad thing. Nobody likes it to come out in the way it came out, but I think that in the end we have to adjust, but we've had to adjust the last 2 years. So it's like, what's
I
one more
think
thing?
the way I feel about it is I really have no problem being able to answer for the value we bring. I have no problem explaining to someone everything we do, everything we offer, and the breakdown of that. I think there are so many misconceptions, and even the headlines have been truly misleading.
Well, they always are.
Of
Headlines
course,
about
I mean, that's their
anything are.
job, right?
Yeah.
Clickbait, that's their job to get the most clicks. Fine. If anybody listening has a question on any part of it, we welcome that.
Right.
Happy to address the questions. And I don't think this is over. This is going to go on for probably years
Yeah, they'll
before the
appeal
dust
it
settles.
and all that. Yeah.
But in terms of what we do locally and the people we work with, it's an open discussion.
And that's really the only difference it will be for us, is how I feel.
But is it even a difference? I mean, if anyone had questions all along, we would have answered them.
yeah, no, that's not different. I just mean more of how we talk about it. I
Right,
don't
right,
think that people really ask the questions that much. You had some people who would,
right.
but other people would just take your word. You know what I mean? Like, go through,
True,
take your
true.
word for it, and move on. So
Right.
the difference will be on the buy
Buyers.
side, and
Yep.
having to have those conversations. Previously, it would just be, well, unless we run across a for sale by owner, you don't pay me, the listing agent does. That's going to
Right.
have to
Right.
change, and that'll be a little more challenging. But it is what it is. We just have to go with it.
Right. Right. I think just, it to be continued. We'll see how it goes. I don't think that it's likely any of these things are going to start changing here overnight.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very slow that we see any listings where there's no buyer agent commission offered. I think it will take some time before we start seeing many buyers having to pay commission out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say it won't happen. I know I have seen in Rhode Island where they've been offering reduced I'm talking, significantly reduced by our agent commissions.
Yep.
Um, so it is happening. I just don't think it's going to be like a light switch where the industry is going to be flipped upside down.
I agree. And I feel like that's the case most of the time, like we get the information, we gather it, we maybe adjust a little bit, but I think people need more information before things drastically change.
Right. Right. And things need to, everything's big hot topic right now. Everyone's all fired up about it. But how does that translate into contracts and our actual deals with clients?
Right.
It's going to take some time.
Time will tell. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. So,
So,
we'll keep watching this, and if there's any more, information or anything new that comes up from it, then we'll just dive into it again and, see what comes. But I think
no,
for
I mean,
now,
I've been paying pretty close attention to it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we have to. We do have to. But I think that a lot of it is kind of so far just the same, type of information, a little different. As they get into it, I'm pretty sure, and from what I've been hearing, that NAR will appeal it. I'm sure that will bring up
Oh, yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot more, a lot more. So we'll see. But that's that's about that. Do you have anything else on that topic?
No, I think that's kind of what it boils down to for now. Like you said, it's going to continue. It's going to be appealed. There was the second class action suit just filed, but it's all the same issue.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
To be continued on that.
Yeah. So, do you have anything good planned for this weekend, Erin?
Yeah, so this weekend.
No, your kids don't have school tomorrow, right?
No school for the second day this week. So, I don't know what we'll do during the day. My kids, Veda specifically, she just likes to keep it moving. Go, go, go. I mean, that girl will run herself ragged. So I try to not pack our schedules with a ton of things because our schedule is organically packed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when we do have a free day, I try not to add a bunch of stuff into it all the time. Different things. But so hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to relax. She'll have gymnastics practice in the afternoon. And then again Saturday morning she will. So I like to have her relax. Well, Ronan has a game Friday night, but me and the little kids will probably watch it. We can watch it on TV.
Nice. Nice.
So I think we'll do that. And Quinn has a playoff game Saturday. Oh, and actually, I think Ryan and I are going to the Alewife Cove Preservation
Oh, that's right. Right.
event on Saturday night. So that'll be nice. What is it? The annual benefit bash. Alewife Cove's annual benefit bash. That's Saturday
It's for
night.
like the preservation of the cove, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And there'll be live music and stuff like that, so that should be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I don't know. I think that's about it. Sunday, Veda has a birthday party. Just
It's every weekend with the birthday parties.
it's
Oh my
constant.
god.
It's constant. Everything. This is one of her really good friends, and the mom was like, "We can't. Like, are you free this weekend? Because we can't do it if Veda's not available." So
Yeah. I mean, you gotta love those ones.
yeah, no, it's cute, and she'll have fun, so it's all good. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my kids do have school tomorrow, thankfully. So I
Lucky.
have a couple showings scheduled. If anyone knows of anything coming on, please let me know because I've got people looking and not enough to show them. Yeah, I've got two really need to find something type buyers.
Yeah.
In the next no more than 2 months, like by the end of the year. So clock is ticking. And
Isn't it?
then what's that?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say the clock is ticking. I like had a aha moment today. I looked at the date, and it was November 9th, and I'm like, I feel like I feel like even November itself is going by so quick. It's like
Yes.
I can't keep up. Like life is just flying by, and it's wild to me. It's
I've
wild.
already seen contracts going into January,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, like,
Mm.
nope, we need this done this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just people are running out of time. Um, so that's tomorrow, and then Saturday as well. My dad's doing an estate sale this weekend, so I'm going to try and help out for a little bit there.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, I've got a baby shower.
Oh, nice.
So
Fun.
there's the weekend.
There's the weekend. I know. And then we have 1 week, and then the week after that, they only have 2 days of school because then it's
Oh
Thanksgiving.
no, we have 2 half days of school.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about this. The half days are terrible.
Like, what is that? Just give them the extra day off.
This is the time of year, it's like there's more days off than there are
Yeah,
not.
and then, so what is it? Next week, there's something else. Oh, we've got a school performance one day and book fair the other day, which of course I volunteered to work. Now I'm
Oh
wondering
yeah.
why the heck I did.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, next week is already gone.
Yeah.
It feels
I
like.
know. I know. Before we know
But
it, it'll be January, which is scary, but
I almost feel like that's a good thing because I am not stressed, but like overwhelmed in advance of the next 6, 7 weeks, whatever it is. Like,
yeah,
I feel like I might be able to come up for air in January.
I know. Well, we always say that, and then there's something else.
Then we're skiing every week.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, at least that's fun, though.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
No, it'll be good. So,
All right.
until next time.
Yeah, sounds good. Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, you as well.
And I'll see you Monday
All
morning
right.
if I don't talk to you before.
We'll talk.
I know.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.